Hello and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Henry, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Henry. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here again. And today, we've got a really important topic, one that I think a lot of our listeners can relate to.
That's right. We're talking about fluency. Why are so many learners struggling to become fluent in English? You study for years, you know the grammar, you memorize vocabulary, but somehow speaking still feels difficult. Sound familiar?
Exactly. And if you're listening and thinking, that's me, don't worry, you're not alone. Today, we're going to break down the biggest reasons why you might not be fluent yet, and most importantly, what you can do about it.
So, if you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or like you're just not improving as fast as you'd like, stay with us. We've got some eye-opening insights and practical tips coming up.
Oh, absolutely. I hear this all the time. People are afraid of making mistakes, so they don't speak at all. But here's the thing. Mistakes are part of the learning process.
All right, so let's dive into it. Sarah, I think the first thing we need to talk about is fear. A lot of learners aren't fluent because they're just too afraid to speak.
Let's get started.
Exactly. Think about how children learn a language. They don't care if they say something wrong. They just keep trying. But adults? We overthink everything. What if I use the wrong verb? What if my pronunciation isn't perfect? And that fear stops people from improving.
And the irony is, the more you avoid speaking, the harder it becomes. So if fear is holding you back, remind yourself, mistakes don't mean failure, they mean progress.
Okay, next reason. This one is big. Not practicing consistently. Learning English is like going to the gym. If you only work out once a month, you're not going to get fit.
All right, this one might be controversial, but we need to talk about it. A lot of learners focus way too much on grammar.
Exactly. It's not about studying harder, it's about studying smarter and making English part of your daily routine.
Right. Grammar is important, but it shouldn't stop you from speaking. Native speakers make grammar mistakes all the time, but they still communicate easily. The key is to balance grammar with real-life communication.
Oh, totally. They spend years learning tenses, memorizing rules, doing exercises. But when it's time to have a conversation, they freeze.
Another big reason people struggle with fluency is they don't listen enough. You can't speak well if you don't understand how the language sounds.
So if you're spending all your time on grammar books but never actually using the language, that might be why you're not fluent yet.
And the best part? You don't even have to be actively studying. You can just listen to English podcasts, watch movies, or even play English music in the background while you do other things.
Exactly. A lot of learners focus only on reading and writing, but listening is what trains your brain to recognize natural speech patterns, pronunciation, and intonation.
Oh, for sure! A lot of learners try to translate every single sentence in their heads before speaking. And guess what? That takes too much time and makes conversations feel slow and unnatural.
Yes, the more you hear English, the more natural it becomes for you. And when it sounds natural, speaking becomes easier too. All right, last but definitely not least, thinking in your native language. Sarah, this is a huge one.
And don't worry, it's totally possible. It just takes practice. Start with small things. Describe what you're doing in English, label objects around you, or even talk to yourself in English throughout the day.
Exactly. English and your native language probably have different sentence structures, so direct translation just doesn't work. Instead, you need to train your brain to think in English.
All right, so those are some of the biggest reasons why you might not be fluent yet. But don't worry, we're not just going to leave you there. Up next, we're going to give you some powerful solutions to help you break through these barriers.
Yes, the more you do that, the less you'll rely on translation, and the more natural your fluency will become.
Yes, this is so important. The first thing you need to do is change your mindset about mistakes. Mistakes aren't a bad thing. They're actually a sign that you're learning and improving.
Yeah, so stay tuned because we're about to share some of the best tips for improving fluency. All right, now that we've talked about the biggest reasons why you might not be fluent yet, let's focus on the good news, solutions. Sarah, let's start with the first one. How to overcome the fear of making mistakes.
Right. So instead of being afraid of mistakes, celebrate them. Every mistake teaches you something new, and the more you speak, the more natural it will feel.
Exactly. Think about babies when they learn to talk. They don't care if they say something wrong, they just keep trying. And that's why they improve so fast.
Another great way to improve fluency is to surround yourself with English. If English is only in your textbook, it's going to be really hard to improve. But if it's part of your daily life, fluency will come naturally.
So here's a challenge for our listeners. Today, try speaking English without worrying about being perfect. Just say whatever comes to your mind, even if it's not 100% correct.
Exactly. Here are some simple ways to do that. Change your phone and social media settings to English. Listen to English podcasts while doing everyday activities. Watch TV shows or YouTube videos in English. Follow English-speaking influencers and read their posts.
Yes, and the best part, you don't need to live in an English-speaking country to do this. You can create your own English environment at home.
Okay, let's talk about speaking. A lot of learners wait until they feel ready before speaking, but the truth is you'll never feel 100% ready. You just have to start.
I love that. The more you expose yourself to English, the more your brain will get used to it, and fluency will come naturally.
Exactly. Describe what you're doing, say your thoughts out loud, or even have imaginary conversations. It may feel silly at first, but it really helps.
Yes, and you don't need a language partner to practice speaking. You can talk to yourself in English.
Another game changer is improving your listening skills. The more you listen, the better your speaking will become.
And if you want to take it to the next level, try recording yourself speaking. It helps you hear your own mistakes and track your progress over time.
And it doesn't have to be boring. Watch movies, listen to music, follow podcasts. Just make sure you're listening to real natural English every day.
Absolutely. A lot of learners struggle with fluency because they don't understand native speakers. So improving listening is key.
Now this one is huge. If you want to be fluent, you need to start thinking in English, not just translating from your native language.
And one great tip, don't just listen passively. Try repeating what you hear, or even mimicking native speakers to copy their pronunciation and rhythm.
And you can start small. For example, when you see an object, name it in English instead of your native language. Or try making short sentences in your head throughout the day.
Yes, translation slows you down. Instead, train your brain to think directly in English.
All right, so we've covered a lot of great tips today. Remember, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about using English every day and making it a part of your life.
Exactly. The more you practice, the faster and more natural it will become. And before you know it, English will feel automatic.
And now, we want to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge with fluency? Let us know in the comments or send us a message.
Yes, and don't get discouraged if it takes time. Just focus on making small improvements every day, and you'll be amazed at your progress.
Exactly. If you take just one thing from this episode, let it be this. Fluency comes from using English, not just studying it. Speak more, listen more, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Wow, we've covered a lot today. Fluency might feel like a big challenge, but remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress every single day.
So now, we want to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge with fluency? Are you struggling with confidence, consistency, or something else? Let us know in the comments or send us a message.
And the best part? You're not alone in this journey. We're here to help. And so is the entire English learning community.
That's right. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode.
And if you found this episode helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who are also learning English.
Bye for now and happy learning.
Thanks so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you next time on the English Learning Podcast.